been a drug addict?
No.
Okay, calm down. Have you ever known a drug addict?
Yes.
Well, I have.
Been or no?
Wouldn't you like to know? I would tell you that, but first of all, good afternoon, Madam Tiamodi, Toastmasters, and guests online, I think. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I posted a link just a minute ago on our Toastmasters group, okay, the general group. I'd like you to take a look at it. Timer, please give 1 minute. I want you to just watch that video. It shows what happened a long time ago in the era of slavery, but it was depicted in the 1977 movie called Roots. Just watch 1 minute of that. It's about 4 minutes there, but I want you to just watch 1 minute and then we will proceed. Kunta Kinte is running, knowing that these guys are working for the white man and are trying to capture him. They capture him, and naturally, like any criminal, he struggles, he fights, he tries to free himself from the clasp of their chains. He does everything in his power, trying harder and harder, until, after a long struggle, the screams of frustration as he realizes what his fate really is. With everything in him, he fought. Oh, how he fought. But it was not enough. And he was now bound to face whatever his captors had in store for him. This is the loss of freedom. This is the loss of control.
Again! Get back in line!
It's about loss of control. Now hold that thought. Today we're talking about drug addiction. But first, let's make some clear definitions. What is a drug? We usually say, I'm going to the pharmacy, I want to pick up some drugs. We use the term loosely to cover medicines, okay? And indeed, a drug is a substance that alters the way your body would behave. But it's important to make the distinction between medicines and drug, because for the purpose of this discussion today, I'm going to be using the term drug to mean something other than medicines. What's a medicine? A medicine is a substance that when ingested, which means taken through the mouth, when inhaled, which means taken in through the nostrils, when injected into your body, or maybe when applied, can change the way your body responds to a disease by either treating it, managing it, making it better, easier to cope with, or reducing the intensity of the disease. It can also be used to diagnose a disease. Those are medicines. But now drugs, and by drug I mean hard drugs, are substances that alter the way your body behaves and also alter the way your mind behaves. So now that we've clearly defined that, when I'm referring to drug subsequently, I'll be referring to the second set of items, the items that alter the way your body behaves and alter the way your mind behaves. Drugs that make you experience loss of control. All right. So what is drug addiction? There are two major ways. I'm going to focus on the drugs that affect the way your mind works, because every decision you make, every choice you make is a function of what goes on in your mind. So if I can get your mind, I've got you. What is drug addiction? Drug addiction is a situation where a person has been held captive by a substance. Now, these substances, they have two basic ways how that they work, okay? One is to cause you, there are two parts of your brain that respond emotionally to circumstances. In a normal person, you have days when you're excited. There are things that happen that make you happy. Oh, your son just passed an exam. Yay! Isn't that your response? Your son passed an exam. That's not likely to be your response, right? So your normal response would be excitement, joy, happiness. Somebody just got you your favorite food. Yay! You're excited. All those experiences of excitement are because of the release of certain hormones in your brain. So you have dopamine. Have you heard of dopamine? Dopamine is a feel-good hormone. It makes you feel happy, it makes you feel good, and it is released in those times when you are excited. You also have another side of your brain called the amygdala. This part of your brain is basically protective. What it does is it makes you make decisions to preserve you, to keep you safe. That amygdala must have been working really hard in Kunta Kinte in that drama, because he was trying to protect himself, right? That's the point I'm making. But its goal is to preserve you, to protect you. That's what it's trying to do. Now, with drugs that cause you to be addicted, they work on that pleasure center. But they give you more than average pleasure. That happiness from your son passing an exam, that happiness from, oh, my daughter's getting married, that happiness from, oh, I just won the lottery, they take you to a whole new level, right? So imagine that level 2 was the normal happiness. And then you now have this substance that when you take it, takes you to a level 5. Now hold that thought. Here's the problem. You won't knowingly, who wants to become a drug addict? It's not likely that you want to, right? But there are different circumstances that can lead you to exposure to these things. For whatever reason, you find yourself at a level 5. Maybe someone laced your drink. Or maybe you were in pain, and the pain was not going to be able to be managed by regular medicines. They had to give you something else that took you to that level 5. You haven't experienced level 5 before, and now, I'm at level 5. Level 5 can happen with a person who has had a surgery, or they had an accident. Regular medicines are not enough, and they take them to level 5 with an opioid, for example. So this person gets to level 5, and they take level 5 medicines for a short period of time. They're fine. What happens when they take it over and over and over again is that the body figures, oh, level 2 is not correct. Let me level up. Level 5 is now where we should be. So the body assumes level 5 is now normal. So to get the high that we got from moving from level 2 to level 5, we now need more of the medicine to get the same level of high. We now need more release of dopamine. The regular amount is not enough. The level 5 is not enough. We need more. And so you find the person continually needing more. The problem is that those things that make you feel that high are also doing other things. They're also suppressing your pain center. So you're not feeling pain. But they're also doing other things. They're doing damage to your liver. They're doing damage to other organs. And you cannot reduce the damage they're doing by getting high. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just get high and no side effects? Sorry. It comes with some serious problems. One of the problems with opioids, for example, these are drugs that are used to relieve pain. but that many people, depending on the type of pain, there are sicknesses that people have that make them need these kinds of drugs, and then sometimes they go out of their way to get them illegally. And those drugs now put them in a position where they are addicted, they are hooked. They have to get those drugs, right? One of the major problems of those kinds of drugs is that they also reduce the activity of the part of the brain that controls breathing. So they suppress the respiratory center in the brain. This is why people overdose on some of those drugs and end up dying. Because now respiration is reduced. So oxygen that you need for life, you're not getting. Another part is sedation. So your consciousness, because if your respiration was dropping and your consciousness was fine, you'd realize, oh, I have a problem, I can't breathe, somebody help me. And you may be able to get help. But then your consciousness is also reduced. So you're just happy to die. And that's really dangerous, okay? And so that points out something I'd like you to understand, that what they do is about how you feel, but it's also very different from what is real. How you feel versus what is real. And they make you prioritize how you feel over what is real. And the problem with that is you care about your children, for example. You care about your spouse. You care about your career. You care about your health when you are thinking, when you are in control. But when you experience loss of control to drugs that cause addiction, they make you prioritize this over everything you care about. And I must get that high, even if I have to sacrifice my values, even if I have to sacrifice the people I love, even if I have to sacrifice myself. Everything else takes the back burner to how you feel. It's important to understand the problem and how severe it is so that we avoid it and so that we help the people that we care about avoid it. Is this a big enough problem? I mean, I asked if anybody wanted to be a drug addict and not even one hand went up. So it must be that nobody wants to be a drug addict. Why are we talking about this? Statistics actually show that a lot of people over the past 10 years, the past decade, there has been a surge in drug addiction by about 23%. That means that over 1 in 5 people
and crime in Nigeria
are drug
indicated
addicts.
14.4% of adults
And this
from
is only
15 to
counting
64 years
drugs
old
that are
abuse
registered
drugs.
legally, known as drugs of abuse. We're not counting cough syrups. Are you aware that there's some people who abuse cough syrups?
Yes.
I was sitting in a community pharmacy years ago, and this became routine, but my first experience of somebody walking in and asking, please, I need this cough syrup. And they're very specific usually. They know the one they want because they know why they want it.
Yeah.
Ignorant, naive, young pharmacist like me, oh sure, no problem, I got the drug and I gave it, and I'm explaining how you should take 10 mils, then wait, 8 hours, then take 10 mils. The guy is going, yes, okay. And the moment it enters his hand, right there in my presence, he opens it up and go, and drops the empty and walks. What? How do people even figure out that this can happen? How do they know? Because you have to break the rules to find out that, oh, this can take me here. I don't know what the answer to that is, but there are a lot of people that are abusing drugs. Now, I like the way we're nodding our heads like we're talking about people out there. Let's bring it home. I found out late last year that I was a drug addict. How do you feel? Oh, don't judge me. I'm coming. How was I a drug addict? Now, we've defined what a drug is in this context. It alters the way your body behaves. It alters the way your mind behaves, right? How many people took a cup of tea this morning? Okay. How many people took a beverage this week? Maybe Milo, milk, something. How many people took a bottle of mineral this week? Coke, Fanta, Sprite, juice? Nobody. Juice from a can this week, this month, last month? This is a new month. Last month. Okay. How many people have never taken any of these things I've said? Cake. Cake. Ice cream. Hands? No? Okay, good. Uh-huh. Did I say never? Okay, this last one, right? Okay. Okay, okay. We all take sugar. And I know we like sugar, and there's no law against sugar. So sugar must be okay now. Last year, by November, I was heavier than I had ever been. I was overweight. I knew it. The scale said so. But people around me said, no, you're okay. And I realized they always say that. I knew that there was a problem because when I woke up in the morning and got out of bed, I felt like someone had tied some load on my ankles. I needed to shake it off. I would waddle, a bit like a penguin, before I finally could get myself together. I knew because my thighs were rubbing in ways that I did not like. I was not comfortable. But I just thought, okay, maybe I need to lose some weight. But the more I studied, the more I understood what I was dealing with. I was dealing with an addiction. Have you ever felt hungry to the point where you feel like you break out in sweat? Like you're trembling, you need to eat something? You've never felt that hungry. Maybe you eat too quickly. Because if you're hungry enough and you are on a sugar diet, you'll get there. Sugar does that to us. And sugar, remember we said a drug will alter the way your body behaves. My body was behaving in ways I didn't like. I was overweight. I would go out of breath after one flight of stairs. And yet, when sugar tells me it's time to eat, I didn't get to make a choice. I had lost control. I would eat. Because I'm hungry, I would tell myself. Do you know what I realized? I got to do some research and I found that a lot of what we perceive as sugar, as hunger, is either thirst or sugar addiction kicking in. So, first step was awareness. I became aware that I had a problem. Second step was information. Okay, I got information. And I realized that I had a problem because I was cooperating with somebody. I had given up my control. So listen, when you make the choice to eat bread for breakfast, is that your choice or is that what's available? I have to eat this because that's what's available. When I add sugar to my drink, is that because that's what I'm supposed to, or that's what has always been done? Do you know that there's so many things that have been handed over to us that we just do because that's how it has always been? We don't think about it. Why do you eat 2 wraps of swallow when you enter that buka to order your food? Is that because that's how to eat? Or is it because you always eat 2 wraps? That's how you met it. Your father ate 2 wraps. Your brother eats 2 wraps, so you eat 2 wraps. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or maybe it's the size of the wrap. Okay. But the point is, are you making your choices when it comes to your food? And I saw that sugar was controlling my diet because you choose to eat it because it's sweet and you choose not to eat it because it's not sweet. It's as simple as that. I had lost control. So I decided I wanted to regain control. Now look at sugar and what it does in the body. When you understand the metabolism, first of all, sugar occurs naturally. You find sugar in sugar cane. That's where they get sugar from. So it's natural, so it must be correct. No. If you eat sugar cane comes with certain things. It comes with some additional nutrients. It also contains a lot of water. So when you sit and eat sugar cane, the work of chewing that thing and then the water that you're going to get, you're going to take much less sugar than what we take in those cubes where we have extracted only sugar, removed the nutrients, removed the water, and we have put that into our food. When you drink a bottle of Coke, you drink up to 12 cubes of sugar. And there are people who drink 4 bottles in a day. Now, your body handles sugar differently from how it will handle the sugar in your regular food. Because in your regular food, your food contains complex sugar. Your body needs energy. We have energy-giving foods, right? In school, we learned about energy-giving foods. Carbohydrates are important for energy. But they come with additional nutrients that are useful. There are minerals, there are vitamins that are additional, that are important for the chemical reaction that is going to extract energy from that food. But when you have only sugar as we process it, we remove the nutrients, we remove the water, we remove everything additional. Guess what your body does? Your body is lazy. See energy here. I don't have to break this one to collect my energy. It is right here looking at me. Let me just collect this one. So it wants to collect it, but it needs those nutrients. So it tries to collect the nutrients from the food you've eaten, use it to process the sugar that you've taken, so that it can try to produce energy. It now has too much energy, more than it needs. So it stores it up as fat. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is when it doesn't have enough nutrients from the food you eat, because you just drank Coke, you ate cake, you just drank all those things. It extracts the nutrients from what you've stored in your body, the ones that would have been useful for you to do other processes. It takes them and uses it to process the sugar. So you're reducing your energy levels. That's why you take sugar, you have a sugar rush. Have you given a little child, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old sugar to drink, juice? Do you see how hyper they become? But an hour later, their energy is gone. Because the body has taken everything that should have given energy to process the sugar. So we are doing ourselves a lot of harm. And guess what? We are under the control of the sugar. So the sugar comes into your body, causes you to release dopamine. You feel high. It's actually a high. Hello, when you take your Coke, I have to have a bottle of Coke. You get high. You feel happy. But then, at the end of the day, you need more dopamine, so you need more sugar to be able to continue to get the high. So you get more sugar, and you're going down a rabbit hole. This is about loss of control. Slavery is about
Loss of control.
drug addiction is about
Loss of control.
and now sugar addiction is about. Okay, so now what should you do? So I'm going to share with you the steps I took, because today I'm standing in front of you healthier. I'm back in control. I'm making my choices on what to eat and how to live. And so step 1 is, like I alluded to, awareness. Everybody repeat.
Awareness.
Awareness. Being aware, what it does to you. You see, when you enter a shopping mall and you walk down the aisle that has chocolates on this side and sweets on that side. Good. We know what we're talking about. When you walk down those aisles, you usually feel them calling your name. You know, it's like, oh, my friends, my people. But now when you are aware, maybe you would look at them with a bit of suspicion. When they call your name, you may say, excuse me, guy, I'm not answering, because you are aware. But is that enough? Maybe not. You need to take the next step, which is choice. You need to make the choice. Am I saying cut off sugar completely? It's possible. It's your choice. The point is, it's your choice to make. Because you are now aware, you make a choice. Now, when you make a choice, if you decide like me, because I made a choice that I was no longer going to eat the way I was eating. I wasn't a growing child. I've grown. The only growing I can do now is this way. I'm done with this one, right? So I decided to make a choice. And then when I made a choice, I also had to, it wasn't enough to make a choice. Some of us make a choice on the spot. Like right now, maybe somebody's like, hey, are you serious? I'll never drink Coke again. And that's nice. But until you make a, what? Commitment, you haven't started. So what was my commitment? One of the things was to now have intermittent fasting because I realized I was eating much more than I needed. And so my body was storing up all the rest. I also made a choice to eat foods that don't convert quickly. There's something called the glycemic index. They don't convert completely or quickly to sugar in my bloodstream. Okay, so I started getting aware of what foods do that and what foods do not, and deciding what quantities to take, taking responsibility. And then the last part, which is very important. If you decide on your own solo, then one day sugar is going to have a conversation with you solo and is going to corner you and you're going to back down. But when you commit to accountability, that means somebody else is watching out for you too, not just you. Because when you and sugar talk, sugar makes sugar talk you into a bit more than you planned. But then this is the last step, accountability. So with these steps, we're able to break every addiction in our lives. So question for you, what are you addicted to? What are you committed to do differently? Because if you don't, you will continue to be out of control. Thank you for listening, and back to you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.